I love movies and I love games, and they probably love each other very, very much, as cousins should. But just because they're cousins doesn't mean that they should bang. I got curious about this odd relationship that movies and games have developed over the years, and this phenomenon of terrible movie tie-in games. Boss, look at Alien! I wouldn't even call that an alien. It's obviously E.T. from Steven Spielberg's 1982 hit game, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, based on the iconic film of the same name about an alien that just lands on this weird, strange planet with walking and talking apes, and he just wants to find home. He just wants to get home. Okay, E.T. phone home, but they're not fucking picking up the phone. Developed and published by Atari, E.T. is the second movie game ever made and highly regarded as one of the worst games ever made. And it's not a coincidence, because it's a fucking movie game. They suck. This game didn't just suck, but it's often blamed for crashing the video game industry in 1983. The industry went from $3.2 billion to $100 million in just 3 years, all because of E.T. and an Atari. What if the industry just never recovered after this crash? Like, what would I do with my time? Like, stare at the fucking wall? Play board games like Monopoly or some shit? This game was fully completed and developed and finished, ready to ship within 5 weeks, to of course meet a deadline that was given to them. But they did meet the deadline, but the fucking game sucks, so what's the point in even releasing it? I cannot stress to you how confusing and just stupid this game is. It doesn't even make sense. The location of E.T. is never even fucking clear. I don't know where I am, like where I am in the world. Is this direction a portal to another dimension, or is it the fucking next, I don't know, like this, it doesn't make sense. Are you seeing the same footage that I'm seeing? How do I keep falling in these pits and then I rise up and then I fall back down? What the fuck? Is this a glitch? Or is this just how the game is? After a while of just running around not understanding a fucking thing about this game, the mysterious stranger from the Fallout series spawns in, surprise surprise, and takes my fucking head off with a revolver. Thank you for getting me out of my misery. And that's E.T., the video game based on the movie, based on the game. These games always have the stupidest fucking names ever. Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. Why not just King Kong? Or King Kong the game? As stupid as the title is, the King Kong game is actually pretty damn sick. You get to run around and shoot things, and there's dinosaurs and fucking obviously this guy, the King Kong. But unlike King Kong, E.T. set the standard for movie games going forward. From 1982 onwards, the standard was that 90% of the games that were based on movies were shit, and maybe 10% of them were good. And the problem is, 90% of these developers making these games really do not give a shit about the game that they're making, and it really shows when you play it. James Cameron's masterpiece from 2008, Avatar. This is still the highest grossing film of all time, making like just under $3 billion total. Thank God they made it into a game, am I right? Because now I can play as these big blue fucking things in a bleak grey world. This game is nothing like the movie. It has the same washed out disease as every other game from the late 2000s, and the gameplay of the fucking wet napkin. If you thought Resident Evil 4 invented the quick turn, you thought fucking wrong, because it was actually Avatar the game. Yeah, that's a fucking quick turn. Most of the time these movies have great plots, and if they executed it correctly, it would turn out to be an amazing game. But for this reason, I think licensed games, at least for me, have always just been a novelty, because they usually are just poorly made games with your favorite actor's face in it. I think it's pretty cool to be able to run around the jungle guns blazing as Rambo, but I personally do not think it's cool to have to move my joystick around like I'm aiming with that fucking Wii remote. Or Resident Evil 4. It's 2014. Lord Jesus Kennedy. Have games not improved in the last 10 years? They could do it for fucking RE4, but not this shit. Seriously, how did they think this was a good idea for home consoles? I don't understand the thought process. Let me run around the jungle and swing on trees and stab someone in the fucking throat. What is this game? I'm about to ask you something that might seem unrelated, but I swear to God, it's gonna make a lot of sense in just a moment, okay? So, who would win in a fight, alright? Van Damme in impermanent splits while playing Guile, Ghoulie, whatever the fuck that name is from the Street Fighter movie, or Sylvester Stallone with a singular PlayStation Move remote as a weapon, okay? Because this game did have PlayStation Move. Well, guess what? This is exactly the plot of Street Fighter, the movie, the game. Okay, I've really got to stop fucking lying about plots these movies, okay? It's not funny. Let's break this one down though. It was originally a game, Street Fighter, that was turned into a movie, Street Fighter the movie, then turned back into a game, Street Fighter the movie, the game. You can't make this shit up. It doesn't. What, does anyone else find this fucking absurd? What? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap! It was so much simpler back in 1982, even though they were shit, they were so much simpler. Games like Alien, just Alien. The title is just Alien, and it's got the exact same cover as the movie, so you can't even... I bet you people have bought this game thinking it was the fucking movie, and that's okay. This is what I love to see. When a movie perfectly blends with the ones and the zeros, and they create this original piece of art that people can enjoy. The Alien series, among many other series and films, does this better than others. For every 5 or 10 or 20 bad movie games, there's one really good one that is actually worth playing. There's probably so many more that I've missed, so feel free to shout out your favorite movie game in the comments down below. It's no longer Control-C plus Control-V from a film reel to a game disc. It's its own thing, you know, that someone got really passionate and gave this game their all, and they wanted to make it really good, and it fucking shows, and when you play it, it's just amazing. At that point, is it even a movie game anymore, or is it just a game? Is it just its own thing? What do you even classify these things as? Alien Isolation is a perfect example of a movie game gone terribly right. It's mostly based on the first Alien film, but obviously draws inspiration from many others. But most importantly, it's its own thing. It has its own original story. It's an original piece of media. And fun fact, it's also probably the closest I've gotten to having a fucking heart attack in my life. My heart rate during this footage that you're watching right now could have probably powered a small city for 3 days. It's an animal. Animals are scared of fire, I know, but I'm a fucking animal, and I'm scared of this thing that is stalking me throughout the vents and following my fucking scent. But games like Alien Isolation, it's a real game that I could recommend to someone who's never even fucking heard of Alien, and they'd be like, holy shit, why is my pants wet? Why is my pants wet? What is this game? Why have you fucking told me to play this? I gotta change my fucking underwear. That's no longer a movie game. That's a game. Or a goofy game. A licensed game. Whatever the fuck you call it, a good movie game. And you've probably played a movie game once or twice in your life. So share your experience in the comments below. What was Shrek 2 for the GameCube like for you? Was it a good game? Did you enjoy it? Did you fucking hate it? Or how about the fact that people talk about GoldenEye the game more than they talk about GoldenEye the movie? And now I'm starting to think that there wasn't really even a GoldenEye movie to begin with, and that it was just probably a very large scale case of the Mandela effect in effect. It's probably the most well-constructed thought I've had all fucking week.